Being gossiped about, threatened with cancellation, being called out for your mistakes and shamed publicly, all different forms of bullying, and ones that Cheryl and Hunter claim their daughter was trying to cope with when she decided to take her own life. Your daughter got bombarded with this, and we said it was in less than 5 days, but when you realize at this age when a girl is really socially sensitive, that's kind of her world, right? This is what defines her. And all of a sudden, there's this first betrayal, because that was a big thing, right?
It was huge.
Because these were girls that she was with.
She'd traveled with them extensively, and for some, she'd known one for 8 years, a couple more for 4, one for 2, and they traveled extensively. Their families considered her one of their own. She spent weekends at their house, traveled with them, etc. They were very close. And we had no idea about the rape and /or statutory rape. She'd kept that secret to herself for 3 years, and all of a sudden, they were sharing it with everyone.
She then extends an olive branch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I've also read.
Right.
And it was clear that she was willing to say, okay, you know what? I'll just follow my sword here. Not even going to bore you with the facts. I'll just own this. She said, whatever. Sorry. And that just was fuel on the fire, right?
It was, because they took that text, coupled it with all the other text information, and then began to mass distribute it to an unknown number of teammates and friends, and then proceeded to try and cancel her on social media.
A week before this happened, you would have never, ever thought this could happen in your family to your daughter.
Absolutely not.
You would have
Never.
put yourself at the bottom of the list of someone that would be
Yeah.
vulnerable to something like this.
We're talking about someone who, had just gotten her driver's license. We were negotiating to buy a car for her. She was going to drive her special needs sister and a friend to school. She changed her college plans because USF had just started a girls' hockey team. She's straight A student, scholar athlete, had, been to national championships twice, would have been 3 times, except for the fact of got canceled her first year because of COVID. Furthest thing from our mind. And she was one that people relied on. There was a girl she used to walk out to the parking lot because she was bullied. After we'd loaded her into the hearse, I was talking to 3 retirees from the fire department that I hadn't had a chance to talk to before the service. There was a girl that waited there patiently till I was done. She said, she'd been homeschooled until grade 8, and then she came to McKenna's middle school, and no one would talk to her, no one would give her the time of day. The only person that would speak to her was McKenna. And then she and McKenna wound up playing flag football in high school, and she led a very normal life.
Yeah.
She was the one that included people and looked out for people.
Who weren't included, people who were ready to quit, whether it be at the gym where she trained or, hockey or flag football, they would stay. She would, because of her, they would stay and they would persevere.
Oftentimes the people that do this are ghosts. You don't know who they are. They're anonymous. They make up fake names and pages and stuff like this. In this case, you had relationships. You knew these people. You knew these parents. You knew these mothers. And bullies have parents. And when we come back, I want to ask Cheryl and Hunter what their interactions have been, what their feelings are, what their relations are with these parents. Because let me tell you something, bullies have parents, and it's parents' job to know what their kids are doing or not doing. And it's all of your job to know what your kids are doing or not doing.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.